All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Andy Ruiz fires Manny Robles and then blames Al Haymon in the PBC for it. Now, if that is not perfect example of passing the buck and being in denial, hey man, I don't know what is. But let's talk about that and the response that Leonard Ellerbe made, as well as several other people that have worked with the PBC have said about Al Haymon and their policy about having trainers fired. My thought on it is, man, look, excuses, excuses, excuses. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about this Manny Robles versus Manny Robles blaming Al Haymon in the PBC for Andy Ruiz firing him. Before I do that, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that supports the channel. If you're not subscribed, I hope you accept my invitation to subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Also, man, shout out to all the members of the channel, everybody that's a member of the Patreon channel, and everybody that supports the live streams that we do, especially OG Boxing Talk, Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. with my co-host Blood Boxing and the rest of the panel. There's a very long panel, so sometimes I gotta cut the videos short and I can't name everybody every time, but you know who they are. So let's talk about this, man, okay? Andy Ruiz fires Manny Robles. There's a rumor that he is going to hire Teddy Atlas. Manny Robles says that he heard that people in the PBC and Al Haymon wanted Andy Ruiz to make a change, and that's why he believes that Andy Ruiz fired him. Now, Leonard Ellerbe then comes out and says, man, that's a lie. That's absolutely ridiculous. There's several other people. I won't name who they all are, but you can go check out the World Boxing News, the article that is on World Boxing News, and you can go through that, go through that article in depth and, see who said what. But pretty much they were like, look, man, that's not, Al Haymon is not going to, and these are people that know Al Haymon. Al Haymon is not going to tell you that you need to fire or force you to fire your trainer. Okay. Now, I've had some personal exposure to that, in that I know of somebody who shall remain nameless, who was a fighter that fought with the PBC. And there was, at a point in time, some people had some issues with his trainer for a specific reason. That particular guy and that particular team said, no, we want to keep our trainer, and they kept the trainer, right? They could have had the trainer be a co-trainer with somebody else, but whatever the case is, it wasn't a trainer who was of the status of a Manny Robles or anybody like that. So I know of a time when somebody was approached to say, hey, we would either like you to add somebody to your team, or we would like for you to work with somebody. The fighter who was a lower level fighter who still fights with the PBC. So there was no harsh ramifications associated with it. They fought for several fights with the PBC on cards after that. So there was no ramifications, just told them, no, we like our trainer. And they said, okay. And they kept it up and they kept it pushing. So not only are people associated with Al Haymon, say Al Haymon would never force anybody to fire a trainer. I've heard of somebody making a suggestion, and it wasn't anybody really, really high up in the PBC. And they just said, the trainer told somebody at the PBC, no, we don't want to make a change. And then they were like, okay. And it just kept on moving. So, it doesn't bear that what Manny Robles said doesn't really doesn't bear out in my mind. Now, is there a possibility that it could have happened? There's a possibility, because anything is possible. But this is the problem that I have with Manny Robles saying that, is that Manny Robles is now taking the blame from where that blame should be. And that blame, if he wants to blame somebody for Andy Ruiz letting him go, then he needs to blame the person that let him go. needs to blame the person that he was working for. Even if somebody else had suggested, hey man, maybe you should go to Teddy Atlas, or maybe you should go, to I don't know, Jonathan Banks, whatever. Whoever tried to influence Andy Ruiz into letting go of Manny Robles, then the blame lies with Andy Ruiz. Period. To pass the buck on to the other people is it's pretty much just a cop out. It's a cop out. Now, on the other side of it, look, Manny Robles was not able to get Andy Ruiz into the best shape that Andy Ruiz needed to be in. He wasn't able to do it. Now, people can say, hey, that's Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz wasn't showing up to training. Andy Ruiz wasn't doing what Andy Ruiz was supposed to do. Manny Robles can only do so much with Andy Ruiz because he's not Andy Ruiz's daddy, and he can't force Andy Ruiz to train. That is, all of those things are true. The problem with it is that it doesn't matter, because if he's the trainer and his job is to get Andy Ruiz into the best shape possible, he has to figure out how he can do that. How you go about doing that with somebody like Andy Ruiz, I do not know. I do not know Andy Ruiz, but it might be different than what you might have to do if you were training Terrence Crawford. And that will be different than what you need to do when you're training and Anthony Joshua. But what, at the end of the day, if the trainer's job is to get the guy into shape and prepare him for the fight, and the guy walks into the ring not prepared to fight, out of shape, hey, the trainer didn't do his job. Right? Now, there are dependencies, right, which says, hey, me being able to do it will depend on Andy Ruiz doing his part. But hey, at the end of the day, if Andy Ruiz feels like, look, I know I needed more discipline, I needed more of this, and he needs somebody to like yell and scream at the top of their lungs at him and show up to his house at 6 o'clock in the morning, knocking on the door saying, hey, get up, get up, bang, 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 bang. You got to come get the chicks out your house, man. Get the chicks out your house, get out the club. You got to follow them around, all that. Hey, if that's what Andy Ruiz feels like he needs, then shoot, Andy Ruiz, if he's serious, got to go find somebody to do that. Now, I wouldn't think that somebody that is truly dedicated to the sport, to their sport, and is really, focused on their job needs to do that. But hey, whatever gets the job done, gets the job done. And an example of that is Dillian White. Dillian White has a guy walking around faking like he has the same last name, faking like he's his brother, who Dillian White said his job is to wake me up in the morning. Now, assuming that is not, some other reason why I think Dean White would be that close to Dillian White early in the morning. I can't resist it. But if just assuming that he's just, driving up to his house at 6 a.m. with a blowhorn and the doorbell, get up, you got to go to training, get up. No, I'm not taking any excuses. Get up. If that's the job that he serves in Dillian White's camp, and Dillian White knows he needs that, hey man, that's what he needs. And then Dillian White can make a decision like, hey man, if I got a team that's not doing that for me, I got to get rid of the team and I got to find somebody who's going to do that for me. And obviously Manny Robles was not able to do that. And in the first fight, Andy Ruiz could have been in a bit better shape because Andy Ruiz had just come off of a fight. He had fought, I don't know how long, it was not too long before. Andy Ruiz was coming off of a training camp. So he pretty much, to get ready for the Anthony Joshua 1, he had 2 consecutive training camps. So when there was the break, a long break with a lot of money included in between it, hey, dude got out of control. But if he's looking for, just put the blame where the blame lies, man. And Al Haymon could have walked up to him and said, hey, look, and it could be on tape and I still wouldn't care. He could walk up to him and say, hey, look, man, you need a team around you that is going to get you to where you need to get, okay? And by that, I don't mean some fantastic get you where you need to, get you back to the heavyweight championship of the world, get you to the Hall of Fame. No, I mean, you need a team that's going to get your ass to the gym, Okay, you need somebody that is going to babysit you all the way through your training camp. Okay. And however you get it done, man, you need to get it done, because one more fight like that, you got to go. Okay. One more fight like that, dude, there ain't going to be able to make no more fights for you. Right. Even if Al Haymon said that, right, Manny Robles still has to blame nobody but Andy Ruiz for pulling the trigger. Now, I don't believe that Al Haymon would say that to him. I've heard other situations where if somebody just says that, they want to do something, hey, okay, you want to do that, that's you. Hey, Jesse Vargas, hey, look, if you want to go to the zone, that's more money for you. Hey, okay, great. I advise you to do that. You get more money. This doesn't seem from the way that he interacts that the way that things have played out in other circumstances that he's that type of guy. But then again, I don't know, because I've never met him. But anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. Is Manny Robles just, crying sour grapes or whatever it is, whatever the saying is, or, is there some grand conspiracy to get rid of him? Man, personally, I think just blame Andy Ruiz, man. It's on Andy Ruiz. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.